welcome to my channel. My name is Catherine and this is Stitching in Costume. Here we are in my sewing room. I have clawed my way up here. I have a few minutes to share with you, so I would really like to catch you up on what I've been doing creatively. If you've never stopped in here before, this is where I talk about all of my crafting, all my sewing, and today it is 99.9% cross stitch. So if you tuned into Flosstube, you're in the right place. And if you're returning, you know that I love you. I'm so glad to see you back. Okay, so here we are. It's June 16th. It's Father's Day. That's why I'm trying to get this up and going. My husband is out doing a hike, so I've got a few minutes to come in and share with you. It's been a busy time of year for us. Here in California, it's the weather is warm and there is so much to do outside. I have been doing a little bit of gardening that I will probably throw pictures in at the beginning or the ending about that. I'm a new gardener and very a novice when it comes to that sort of thing, so I'm still learning how to not grow a 20-pound zucchini because it feels like I just blink and I turn around and they're like that big. So so that's been fun for me and something new. And let's see, I've got so much cross stitch to share, so I'm going to just jump right into that. I've been doing just so much stitching, and I have a couple of finishes, big projects that I'm so happy that I'm completed. But I'd like to start off, first of all, I like to say thank you. I like to show my gratitude for this community. I'd like to say thank you to you for tuning in. I know we have so many great Flosstubers out there right now, and at the end of my video, I'd like to mention a couple of people that are new to me and share them with you, and I will link them below so you can click right on over to them. There's so many people making videos, and I really appreciate you taking your time to check in with me. I'm going to try to not overwhelm you with time so that I don't go over 45 minutes. I'm going to really try to keep it limited because I don't want to hog your time. So let's jump in here. So this is Flosstube number 35. I actually have a little agenda so I can stay on track here. And I'd like to say thanks, first of all, just a quick thank you. My son Calvin did the music for my opener, and I'd like to say thank you to him. It's not his typical type of music that he creates. He's more into metal music, if you know that kind of genre, Metallica, Megadeth, that kind of thing. But he did that just for me, and I really appreciate it. So thanks, honey. I really love it. I'd also like to say thank you. This kind of is going to overlap already with a little bit of haul, but it's not something I purchased. I won something. I love Carolyn and Anna, the Curious Crafters. I'll link them. I'm going to run their name right here. I'll link them below for you to go check out. They are two sisters, and although we live relatively close, I've never actually met them yet. They live in the Bay Area of California. I live about 2 hours, 3 hours from there, depending on traffic. So someday I hope that we get to actually meet in person, but I feel like I know them because I watch their videos, and there's something about the interaction of sisters that just plays on my heart. I have two sisters, and there's something about sisters talking and making each other laugh, and just the way they know each other. It's very special to witness, and I really love watching them. They do fantastic projects. They love Kathy Barrick, and I believe they started the Kathy Barrick fan club with Olivia B. from Hillside Rookery. So they did this contest, I guess. So they showed a picture of them as young girls, and I believe there's 5 sisters altogether, and we were to pick out which one was Anna, which one was Carolyn, and I had to really think about it, and I'm like, well, it felt like it was obvious, but it really wasn't. So then I started to think, because they said in the picture it really represented their personalities, and so I feel like I've gotten to know them a little bit through their videos. So I'm like, which one is which? And so I made this guess, but it was kind of like I looked in their eyes and I saw the way they were standing, and I'm like, I bet that one is Carolyn and that one is Anna, and I got it right. So I was one of 5 people that picked the right, matched up the right sister to the right girl in the picture. And so generously, they offered everybody that got it correct a chart of our choice from Hillside Rookery. So that is Olivia B. Here on Flosstube and Instagram. And she has her own shop called Hillside Rookery, and so we got to go over there and pick a chart. Now, I can't tell you how many times this chart that I picked out has been in and out of my cart. I love it so much. I have always loved it. And I keep going, well, it's Christmas. It's a lot of stitching to do for Christmas. Well, I've done a lot of stitching for Christmas before, but I felt like, will I really display it? And then I thought I could leave off the Christmas part and just do the stitch. I'm going to show it to you. So this is what I chose. It's Esther by Kathy Barrick. I'm going to show it that way. It's in the plastic. And I love this. So many people have done this, and what I think I'm going to do, let me see if I can get the words out, is just do the stitching, leave the words off, and if I can pick a fabric, I'm even thinking a murky to really make the sheep pop, and change up the colors up here a little bit, and leave it up all year. I love this so much. So again, thank you, Carolyn and Anna, first of all, for your wonderful videos and for your generosity. This is part of my stash. So now all I have to do is kit it up. So, and thanks to Olivia B. She sent a little, hi, Catherine, just a note, just those kinds of things. I love this community. Okay, let me jump in here. I'm going to show you my book of days really quick. So first of all, I missed May. I didn't really share in May, but I did lots and lots of stitching. So that's kind of what my May looked like. It was a hodgepodge of crazy. And where I forgot to write things down, I put stickers in. And so I have a couple finishes. I've got some starts. So let's jump in to all of that. First of all, I'd like to say that I did a giveaway for my last video, and it was for the pattern for this stocking, and I have not heard back from Nicole C2523. I will run your name right here, and I'll give you another couple of weeks. I know there's so many Flosstubes to watch right now. If I don't hear back from Nicole by the next time I film, probably in July, I'll give it away. It's a perfect thing to stitch in July, Christmas in July, right? A stocking, even though obviously I leave that up year round. I really love how that turned out. So I just wanted to take care of that business. So let's jump into some finishes, shall we? The first finish I'm going to show you, it's a biggie, is Florence Mary Dickinson. Now this is a Hands Across the Sea chart. I should have checked this morning, but I didn't. This was exclusive to Hobby House Needleworks in New York, New Jersey, and it was a special offering, and I jumped in and just got the chart, and then I kitted up myself with the Vicki Clayton silks, and also the fabric is, let me see what I've got here before I tell you, is Lakeside Linen Vintage Pearled Barley in a 40 count. Now I really love the Victoria Clayton silks, hand-dyed fiber. You can get her silk packs online, and she creates packs and packs, so you can go in and type in the name of the chart that you're looking for, and most likely there's already a silk pack put together for it. At any rate, here's my finish. Now this is the type of sampler and type of border that was very, for me, labor intensive. Now and here's why. It's not because there's different colors. It's just, there's so many little different colors in the leaves. The leaves were the bugaboo for me, and each flower has 2 different colors. Each leaf has 2 different colors, and it just took me some time to really get in there. And I think I showed it as a finish on Instagram, and then I looked at it again, and I had forgotten to do some of the inside of some of the leaves. So please, if you see anything, please mention that in the comments below, that I missed something before I get into framing this. Now, it's a very big sampler. I'll tell you what the finished size is in a second, but I don't know. I mean, if I'm gonna frame it myself, so it's gonna sit in my finished WIPS box for a little bit of time before, but it's so pretty. I really want to do a sampler wall that's all floral, and another sampler wall that's red houses. Yes, definitely one of my favorites, all-time favorites. I think Brenda, the sampler stitcher, is probably close to finish if she's not done already. And she was kind of my inspiration for finishing this, because she said, oh, I really want to start Sarah Milthorpe, but I want to finish this first. And I thought, yes, I should probably finish this one too, because I was close. But I thought, oh, all I have left to do is finish this. I had to do this clump here, and then the bottom. Well, this border, I'm telling you, it took me time. It took me some time, but I'm really, really so happy to have it finished. And I know that there is a stitch along going, starting very soon, with Sarah from Sarah's Stitchy Spot and Judy of Stitching Bunny. They are having a birthday start with this. And so, first of all, happy birthday, ladies. I love both of those Flosstubes, and I have met Sarah and love Sarah dearly. Consider Sarah a good friend. So yes, you guys are gonna love this, and I think Sarah said she's doing the Victoria Clayton silks, so on a 40 count, they're a dream. One more, there it is, just gorgeous. Okay, so that was a finish number 1. Let me show you my finish number 2. Oh, first of all, here's the booklet. I'm not sure if I showed that booklet. So on a 40 count, what does it say that is? The design turned out to be 12.65 by 14.85 on a 40 count. So it's a big girl. All right, let's see here. I'll show that one too. Okay, this is another one that had been kind of languishing. I didn't bring the chart out. It was a PDF download that I got, and so there's nothing remarkable about the chart. It's pretty beat up, but this is Jane Parsons, and this is by the Wishing Thorn, and I completed this in the wool. So I bought the kit from the Wishing Thorn, and she had a wool kit left, and so I tried that, and it came with the fabric. This is a 28 count fabric, which the wool is great. It's noon. Perfect timing. And I love this parrot. I put my initials in the center there. It just felt like there was open space, and I went ahead and stuck them in there. They're not perfect, like, they're not as centered as I would like, but they're on there. I have to say, so many people have shown this, and I love the wool. I love the way it looks on the 28 count, but I don't know that I will choose to work with wool again. I have quite a bit left over, so I might do a pin cushion, something like that, or pull a motif off something and create a needle book with it. It is beautiful, and if you have a 28 count linen, this will fill it in beautifully. And I have to say, It looks fantastic. This is 28 count, and it's a pretty generous size of design. It fills that linen quite well. So on a 40 count, it would be substantially smaller. If you wanted to do this, I know originally I thought I'd do it in flower thread, but it was not available. I love this. It really is pretty. And I can see this, it has a kind of a rustic feel, and I really do love looking at the wool, and you can kind of see, let me see if I can get in close, and you can see how raised up it is. You can see the texture of it. So pretty. All right, so Jane Parson, 1841 by the Wishing Thorn is WIP number 2, or finish number 2. Big Girls. I have one more finish that I'm going to share. It's something I've shared before, but I saw, Cardamom Pins. I was watching Carmen from Cardamom Pins. If you haven't checked her out, please go watch her. She's so good. She has so much enthusiasm for the stitching, and she's so fast. She is a very prolific, fast stitcher, and she's just delightful to watch. It's lovely. So she did Rose Cottage Pin Keep, which felt like it took me a year. I think she did it in like a week or two. And so I wanted to show mine. I haven't fully finished it yet. I'm still trying to decide because it does turn out quite big. And this is a piece of 36 count, Picture This plus Heartland. And I used the called for flosses. And I did change it out a little bit. I put right here, I put little motifs. I just pulled things out of the motif book by Brenda Keyes. And then the cricket, I think I just made that one up. But these are all things that I thought I would enjoy having in my rose cottage. So we've got a snail, like who wants a snail? But I do like snails, they're cute. And all of the other things, you know, needles and scissors and baskets and quilt blocks and bees and a crown, because I will be queen of my rose cottage. Watering can. So just little things that kind of lit me up. So I thought I'd just share that with you because I'm all into gardening now. I'm all into it. There's something about the process of watering is so calming for me. The power of water to just center me again. So every day I spend time going out and making sure everything has extra water because it's so hot here. We're getting into, probably in a couple of weeks, we'll be up in the higher temperatures. And my plants are thirsty. So, okay, so those are finishes. And I'm going to jump into my WIPS. So let's move into that right now. Let me make sure I've got all of my things. Yes, I do. Let's work on WIPS here. So I have quite a few. Well, not quite a few, but I have some. So this is a new start. I'm going to go ahead and show this because this is a WIP as well. Isn't this a cute bag? I won this bag on a Zoom meetup with Sandy. I believe it's Stitch and Sandy. I'll put her name here. You can go check out her Flosstube. And she made this adorable bag, and it's all sparkly. I love this. So in this bag is a new to me designer, and not really something that I would have chosen a year ago. If somebody said try this, I'd say absolutely not. But I'm finding that Comfort Stitching, Jackie from Comfort Stitching. I'm going to jump in here really quick. Jackie from Comfort Stitching on Flosstube. I know a lot of you, she probably has more subscribers than me already, so, but if for some reason you haven't checked out Jackie, at least go check out her opener. Is so like, yes, it felt like I was watching a documentary. It's so good. She talks about why she stitches and the comfort and joy she finds in that. And her finish of Consider the Lilies is worth everything. I saw it live and in person at Sampler Symposium this year, and it was the jaw dropper of everybody was like, wait, what is this? Because she She's an artist, and she redesigned Consider the Lilies. Her first sampler, it blew my mind. It was so good. So go check out Jackie. So this falls into the mode of comfort stitching, and new to me is Carolyn Manning. I've never done a Carolyn Manning. I never thought I would. It just that full coverage and just all of that. But I have to tell you, my friend, all of those little blocks are so relaxing. This is such a comforting stitch and so easy. It's so easy. So let me show you where I am on it. I got a piece of pink Ada. Again, who would think I was going to be stitching on Ada, but for a full coverage piece? Yes, please, Ada. And let me see, it's called Cherry Blossom, and it is on a piece of 18 count picture. No, it's not 18 count. It is 18 count, but it's Ada, and it's by Those Missing Stitches, and it's called Mighty Marico. Let me see if I can get that in close for you. Mighty Marico, and it's got just the slightest bit of modeling to it, and that's where I am on that. So I just started in that upper left-hand corner, and I'm going to move across this way, and that's where I am on it. I love it. I'm doing it with all the called for flosses, and you can see that it's just the tiniest bit of modeling on the fabric, and there'll be just a little bit, probably a 1/4 inch of a border that you're going to see when it finally gets framed. But I really went through there's so many great Carolyn Manning charts, and I went through a lot of them on the 1-2-3 Stitch site just to kind of look and see, and I had a lot in my cart, out of my cart, and I was watching the 911 Stitcher, and I love her as well, and she's doing watermelon tourmaline, and I thought that's what I wanted to do. And then I started to really look around, even in my sewing room, which is kind of eclectic, let's just be kind here. There's a lot of different things. My husband comes in here and he's like, you got a lot of stuff in here. I'm like, I know. It makes me happy. It's all my favorite things. But I started to look around, and even in here I'm like, do I want that many, all that green and pink? And I love green and pink. I love all the combinations in watermelon tourmaline. I'll put a picture here. And that was my original choice. And then I started to really look at Cherry Blossom, and I thought that would be a lot more calming and relaxing to look at. I could put it in a number of places in my house. But yes, I love all the stars in it. Do you see all the stars and flowers? It's just it's like looking at a kaleidoscope. You can make a lot of different patterns the more you look at it. Just absolutely love it. So that is WIP number 1, and it's start number 1. I think I might have another new start, but we'll see here. Let me put it away so I don't lose track. Okay, let's move on here. I'm just going to grab them. They're in no particular order. Oh, this is another one I have been wanting to share, and I keep forgetting about this. It's Harriet Elizabeth Coe, and this is by Brenda Gervais. And I think I saw this on Carol Saltbox first and really wanted it. I think it took me a while, but I finally pulled the trigger and bought it. I got all of the called for flosses, and here they are. I'm doing this on a piece of 36 count Dirty Teacup by Needle and Flax Linen, and this is where I am. I haven't made a ton of progress, but I'm moving up the side there. Love the colors. I'm going to double check here in a second and just make sure that I'm telling you that I'm using all the called for. I'm pretty certain that that is the case, but let me just check. called for flosses. Let's see here. Yes, I did sub. Okay, so the red is subbed out. I subbed out tulip for the color pomegranate. It calls for pomegranate, but mine was really pink, and I wanted it to be red like the picture. If you look at the picture, those are red berries and red flowers. So I went through my stash, and I really love Classic Colorworks Belsois Tulip. Has a nice variegation to it, and it's very bright and beautiful, bright, beautiful red. So that's where I am on that. Again, not a ton of progress, but I'm up into the eyelet alphabet, which I chose to do Smyrna crosses for this one because at the time I was starting the eyelet. I was eyeletted out. I had been working on a lot of things with eyelets, so I chose to not do that, and I did the Smyrna crosses, and they look beautiful. So if you ever get to that point, I feel ya. Just take the easy road sometimes. Jean Lee gives us permission, and I do anything Jean Lee says. Okay, so let's go on here. Okay, this is another, I didn't show this last time. This is something I saw Brenda the Sampler Stitcher. Brenda, you know Brenda. So Brenda showed this, and I really loved it. So I went on to Hobby House Needleworks. It's an exclusive to them, and purchased this. You can get it there, and I believe you have to buy the whole kit to get it. I'm not sure if you can still get this particular one. It might be moved on. I know there's one that was a mattress pin keep, but ultimately they're going to be having, I'm going to cover the chart really quick. They're going to have the sampler come out. And this is Mary Alcorn 1764 Sampler Series. So they're doing, and this is the top of the drum, they're doing a series of smalls releasing before this one releases. And so I got that one, and the fabric is beautiful. It's needle and flax 40 count thorn-filled. At the time you got this, you could choose your particular fabric, count of fabric. So I finished the top, and you know, it was MA for Mary Alcorn. I went ahead and put my initials there. And that's what the top turned out to be. Very, very pretty, and very generous supply of, I almost feel like I could have been a little more saving of the fabric, but I just kind of wanted to make sure I had enough room to finish it. And these are the colors. They're all the called for. Very pretty. That red is so pretty. Gloriana Schoolhouse Red. Actually, it calls for, oh, I subbed it. So it calls for Red Rocks, which is really pretty. But I subbed it for Schoolhouse Red because I just, you know, I like the pop. And it feels like it's the same, pretty close, same warmth almost. So I felt like it worked okay. And I went ahead and used it, and I'm happy I did. And this is the bottom of the drum, and I just got that far so far. And I go ahead and write on the fabric with the permanent markers so I know what I'm stitching on, and I have that piece of, you know, it's just in the selvage. And I'm pretty careful about how I store it, but it hasn't bled or run onto my project so far. Let's pull it back a little bit and see if, yeah, that's about the color. It's about that warm. Really pretty piece of fabric. And I'm hoping that I'm going to have some left over to do a small at the end of the day. I'll probably have a little piece there that I can do a Christmas ornament on. So there we go. That is the Sampler Drum Series, Mary Alcorn. Okay, let's go on. All right, this is actually a Sal I'm doing. Now, I should also say, if you are following me on Instagram, my Instagram handle is @Trinkety. I'll put it here. I always forget to mention that until the very end, and I'll throw it on as a slide at the end of the video. But yeah, I should probably change that to Stitching in Costume. I think it would be easier for people to find me, but honestly, it's just been Trinkety for so long that I just feel like people know me that way too, and it's all good. I follow a lot of people, but if you follow me @Trinkety, you can see all the projects that I'm posting things that I'm working on. So I only post my cross stitch, a little bit of costuming, but mostly cross stitch. This is another one I'm working on, and this is a stitch along, and this was exclusive to A Stitch in Time in Hobart, Tasmania. So that is what that one looks like. So pretty. Let me show you here. I'm doing this with Gloriana Poinsettia. Very pretty red. It's got a lot of, it's very bright, that red. And I'm doing this on a piece of 40 count Dusty Road linen by Seraphim. And I'm doing one strand over two, which is really what I do all the time, but sometimes I forget to mention that. One strand of floss over two. Do I have the correct side? Yes, I do. So let me get a little bit closer for you. I love Dusty Road. It's kind of that perfect gray beige, and with a really bright, kind of warm, on the warm side red. I like the cool beige background. Let me pull it back a little bit so you can see. Yeah, that's pretty beige. I'm going to pull up another piece of fabric so you can see this fabric next to it. This is the piece of 40 count Thorn-filled next to that. So the Thorn-filled, I feel, is a lot warmer and creamier, and you can see the Dusty Road is less mottled, and it's more on a gray side, so greige. Here we go. And I'm really enjoying this. I tried to do 2 strands of floss a day. Some days I hit that mark, and some days I don't. I try to make up for that by doing more than 2 the next time, but I don't always make that. I'm trying to finish this by the end of the month for sure. So yes, turning out very pretty. And I should say that's by Hands Across the Sea, if I didn't mention that. And it is exclusive. I'm pretty sure you can still go to A Stitch in Time in Hobart, Tasmania online and order it and support that shop. It's a sweet, sweet stitch. My friend Angie, who I'll run her Instagram handle here, finished it over 1 on, what did she do that on? It might have been 46. It's teeny, tiny. Maybe it was over 1 on 40. At any rate, I'll put that information here and you can check Angie. She's such a beautiful stitcher. And she is a friend of mine. I've done a video with her before of her craft room. I'll link that below so you can go check out Angie's house and all of her stitching. It's a lot of fun to watch. Okay, this is one I got from Angie, and this is an out of print chart, Birds of a Feather Happy Hearts sampler. I've always loved this. When Angie asked if I wanted to buy it, I said yes, I would. So very happy to have this in my stash. I work on it not all the time. I'm doing this. I don't have a ton of progress on it. I don't know why. I really love it, but it has a lot of personalization throughout, and it's the type of thing where I'm going to have to chart out the initials here and there. So not a big deal, but it kind of hangs me up a little bit. Don't know why. Shoot. Okay, so here I am. It's on a 40 count, yes, 36 count, Bee's Knees. And this is by, well, it says Rogue Stitching, Seraphim, Bee's Knees. So it's a perfect fabric for this. And I'm using the called for over dyes. Isn't it cute? So that's how far I've gotten. I really love those hands. Let me pull it back a little bit, and that's about what it looks like. It's warm. Yeah, that's a true representation of what the fabric looks like. And I know a lot of people are doing this right now. I think Sarah's Stitchy Spot might have finished it. Don't remember. But I'm, clipping along, pick it up. This is more of an evening by the TV kind of thing, and we've been watching a lot of different things right now on TV. So by the end of the day, we get up so early. It's like sun's up at 5:30, 6 o'clock. The sun comes in, and 6:30, 7 o'clock at the latest, and we are just like a rocket from the time we get up until dinner, and then we get a few minutes to just relax at the end of the day. These are the flosses, and I'm doing all the called for floss for the happy hearts. So you might be able to find this on the secondary market. Well, that's where you'd have to find it right now, unless you have a friend that has it. You can borrow it or purchase it from them. And probably when I'm done with it, I'll pass it on here and do a giveaway with it, because once I stitch it, I'll be done with it. And I like to get things back out into circulation again. Hopefully, I know 1884 Stitchery was talking about possibly reproducing the Birds of the Feather charts, but that is not the case. So I kind of missed out there, but I was lucky that Angie had it. I would still love to do, what's the other one? It's Sally Spencer. Sarah from Sarah's Stitchy Spot is doing that one, and it's adorable. I think that would be a fun one to do as well. Here's a new start. This is talking about Sarah. This is what I have been longing to start for, I would say ever since it came out last year, 2023, at Sampler Symposium. I have wanted to do this. So you can buy this at the Attic. You can buy it at any needlework shop, most likely your favorite. Anybody that has Hands Across the Sea charts. Sarah Milthorpe, and it is 1834, which I love the 1830 charts, the 1830 era. I love the fashion, I love the hair. I've talked about that before. And for me, what I love especially is the symmetry that the chart has. Not everybody likes that. I love it. My little symmetry heart loves it. What happens on one side happens on the other side. It just, I don't know why, that feeds my spirit. So this is one that I have all the called for flosses. I'm doing this on a 40 count dirty teacup, and I'm using the Soilage from the Attic. And look at these floss drops. This is Steph from Lake Girl Stitches on Instagram. I'll run her handle here too. Aren't those darling? I met her at Sampler Symposium, and she gave me those, and I was like, whoa! And a little bling with the bunny. I just love it. So, okay, without further ado, here it is. Not a ton, but I started it, and I couldn't love it more. The colors are just gorgeous. And did I say what I'm doing this on? I don't think I did. Did I write it down? Yeah, 40 count dirty teacup. And it's perfect. Let's get back here. That's it, right there. that is the color of the floss and of the fabric. And this is just on one of those, I think it's an Edmonds frame. Antique Needleworkers, she talked about this, and I went onto Amazon and bought a few of them. I really like them, but I find that the tension, I've got to fiddle with it to get it just right. And then I have these mitten clips that pull it out on the side, and you can use these Smart and Cool, magnetic winder things, and those work quite well as well. So I'm just plodding along. As you can see, I've just started on the bottom border. I did that basket, and moving over to the cartouche. I love it. Love, love, love it. As you can tell, I've got it. I have a tea towel with it. I have the, on the back of my jeans jacket, I put a patch with it on there. I just love this chart so much, and I can't wait to finish this chart, and this will be definitely going on my wall. Okay, let's see. One more whip, and then I'm going to clean up a little bit and show you some finishes, fully finished things. So this lives in my Sarah Stitchy Spot bag she gave me for my birthday. I love it. This is fabric she got in Paris, and I was she was talking about she bought it near the Sacré-Cœur, and this beautiful church that's there at the base of those steps. There's a fabric mart. I can't remember what it's called, but I went in and bought fabric there too to put in my suitcase and bring home and make a costume, which is still languishing in my stash, but anyway, it lives in that bag. So this is the Smith sampler I'm doing on a piece of 40 count Poetic Pony Boy by Those Missing Stitches. This is a stitch along. I'm working with a lot of people are doing this right now. My friend Kathy, who I met at Sampler Symposium, my friend Patty, who lives close by, is doing it, and Roberta Lyle from Sable Stitchers. She broke it all down into little bite-sized pieces to complete it in a year, and I kind of felt, I think I'm off. I don't think I'm following altogether along with that, but I'm making progress on it, and I truly love it. I did sub out the Gloriana Schoolhouse Red I used instead of terracotta, and I thought this particular skein looked warm. It does pop a little bit, but I'm okay with it. I don't mind the red leaping out at me. So this is again on one of the Edmonds frames, and this is how far I've gotten. Let me start back here a little bit so you can see the Poetic Pony Boy, how it reads. It's definitely on the cooler side, which I like, and it's mottled and it's a little bit darker. My plan was to have it really pop the whites. It's not totally doing that for me, but again, I'm okay with it not popping totally. You can see the pheasant's tail kind of disappears a little bit. Let me see if I can get in close for you. And that's my progress so far. That border's no joke. I really love it. I love the triangle borders. It's something I'm really paying attention to this year, are all the triangles that I'm seeing. Let me pull back a little bit. I love the color of the house. That house is a Dinky Dyes, and it's called Eungella. It's E-U-N-G-E-L-L-A, and it's kind of a gray, kind of a dolphin. It looks almost like dolphin, but the color, the texture of the Dinky Dyes is so beautiful. So I should say that I'm using the called for flosses, and they're mostly Belle Soie, Dinky Dyes. What else is in here? Classic Color Works, Belle Soie, Dinky Dyes, Belle Soie, Belle Soie. So it's kind of like that. It's Gloriana and Dinky Dyes. And I got those at the attic. Super pretty. Aren't they lovely? So that is my last WIP that I will be sharing today. Okay, let's see here so I don't go completely crazy here. I wanted to talk a little bit about another project that I've been playing around with. I love to watch Susan Standley, A Stitch in Time, and she has some tutorials up on English paper piecing. Now, I had never done it before, but I thought if I'm going to be learning how to do it, that would be a good place to start, is with her videos. And she has some really excellent videos on it and made it very, very clear and very simple for me to try out. So let me show you what I've done. I did this. This is a Three Sisters fabric, I believe. I'll pull it out here just to make sure. And that is my first attempt at English paper piecing. I used a mini charm pack, and you can see it gets kind of tight. In some places it's kind of hard, but it works to do the mini charms. So that is what I did, and then I've just got lots of little scraps that I'm kind of putting together. Whoops. And they're very simple to do. That's the Blackbird design fabric. I thought I'd do a little flower out of that. And these are just little scraps. So it's super simple. And like I said, I can sit at the kitchen table and do this and talk to people. I could take it down to the pool. And what I like about it, it's so compact. This is, everything fits into this little basket. I have a little funky pin pillow that I made. These little, Daiso dollar store scissors that are sharp enough to cut the fabric if I need to trim it down. And that's it. It all fits there, and I can just paper piece those little things together and then sew them together. So again, Susan Standley, A Stitch in Time. I'll link it below, the Flosstube or the extra where she shows how she does the English paper piecing. So I was very resistant to starting yet another hobby, but I had to jump in, and I'm glad I did. So I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with all of these. I don't, maybe just applique them onto, my jean jacket, or I could do, on the back of a project bag or the front of a project bag, make a little flower applique motif. So I also would like to talk a little bit. I have a couple of sewing tips for you. I watch a lot of Flosstube, and when people talk about, three things they love, or they talk about their top 10 of something. I don't have a ton of tips, but I have a couple of things. So one of the things that I have learned through my sewing, and not just cross stitch, but my hand sewing that I do, a lot of the costumes that I do, I will sew the trims on. Everything is made by hand that you see on the outside of the dress. So I love the 18th century. I love all of the ruching that goes around, all the trims that get applied. Anything that you see from the outside of the costume will be hand sewn. The long seams on the inside of the skirt, honestly, nobody's going to ever see those but me. I will French seam those on my sewing machine, or not even French seam. I'll just sew them on the sewing machine. But anything applied, anything from the outside, is something that I like to stitch myself. Sometimes, and it's happened more than once, when I have been stitching, I have, unknown to me, pricked my finger and gotten blood on my project. So I don't want to freak you out about that. I'm not going to talk a lot about that, but what happens when I do that, in order to get that stain out, this is something that I learned over the years. your own saliva will take out that spot. So I don't want to get into how I know this so well, but it happened where I was sewing something and I didn't realize that I had just pricked my finger before I had gotten all of this stain on my silk. And it was in a very prominent place on the dress. And I had spent, these dresses take the minimum 60 hours to build, and a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, quite honestly, go into them. So I knew that my saliva would take out. It's the chemistry of your body, your saliva, and your blood. So I dabbed it with my saliva, and it comes out. It comes out every time. So if you ever have that happen to you, try that. And in the old days, like the seamstresses used to stitch with a wadded up piece of cotton or cotton fabric in their cheek, and they would use it as they stitch if they prick their finger, which happened all the time. Before sewing machines especially, you dab it with your own saliva and it's gone. So little tip from me to you. Sorry if that grossed you out. Another thing I wanted to talk about really quickly, I've talked before about waxing my thread. I don't wax my thread when I do cross stitch, and especially I don't when I use silk. Where I will wax my thread quite liberally is if I'm doing a project. I'm going to grab something really quick. I do these little, let me get it for you. They're called cockades, and they were something that was very prominent in the 18th century. They were on hats, they were on, costume, they were on all over the place, ribbon. And I'm sure it wasn't just the 18th century. Everybody had loved ribbon, and it was in the 1600s, it was super costly, and people that had money, the ribbon was everywhere, and even, men's costumes were just loaded with ribbon. So this is what a cockade looks like, and I will probably do a tutorial on this. There's not a lot of video tutorials out on how to create these. They're a little bit fiddly, but they're not hard. You just have to take your time with it. Now this one I put a magnet underneath this, the felt in the back, the flannel. And what I wanted to talk about is when you sew these, you have to use long lengths of a strong thread. And one thing that I learned when I took a class on how to do ribbon ruching, and I have quite a few over here that are in various stages of completion so that I can see how I did it. One thing that I learned from, she's a textile artist named Candace Cling. I will link her below, and she has some excellent books on how to do ribbon embroidery, how to do ribbon cockades and flowers and things like that you would use then to apply to hats or costume, or you could put these anywhere. This could go, a little magnet can go in the fridge or whatever. Anyway, so I will use wax to wax that thread, and the way I do it is I like to use, sometimes you need a long length to do something like this. You can't do small lengths. So in order to reinforce that thread to make it glide through the ribbon or fabric easily, you will run it over the wax a few times, and then you sandwich it between a piece of cotton and you press an iron on it and pull out. So you've got the iron pressed on the cotton, and you pull the strand of floss or thread out, and it will create this, it makes it very strong, and it makes it glide through your fabric or your ribbon. So that's my other tip, is waxing. And I'm going to show you really quick here. This is a previous finish I wanted to show you anyway, and this is where I used the wax technique on 6 strands of DMC, and I believe it's DMC. So this is the Brenda Gervais, I think it's called Happy Birthday America, and this is the little finish. You can get it as, I got it as off her website, and it had this printed thing. Now, I believe the instructions, it's been a while since I've done this, I believe the instructions called for me to finish this as a drum, but what I did is I just got one of the round things from the dollar store, the little round containers with a lid. I had to cut this one down because it was too tall, so I just cut it up, and I just left it open for you to see. And then I just made, I just laced this onto the top of it with a little bit of padding. I glued the trim around the inside, and then I can use it as a box. So that's what I did with the floss. And the cool thing about it is, because it has wax on it, I can, you know, style it so it's more twisted or popped up. It gives it a little bit more of a pliability. So again, that's something that I do in a finish technique, is using the wax. And this is the base that I did it on. So I just painted the base. So that is a display. I'll probably display that all summer. This is another one I did, just a little pillow. I just kind of created these little strips, and then I just kind of free-formed July 4th at the top there, sewed it together all the way around. It's just polyfill. And that, this is one I got. This is a free chart. Gosh, if I find it, I'll link it below. I can't remember. If you know it, if you don't mind putting that in the comments. I can't remember who this is by. I'm tempted to say Not Forgotten Farm, but I could be wrong about that. And this is on a piece of Lugana, and I just kind of did a little corset spiral bind up the back on a spool. I put some padding underneath it. I display stuff on that. And then this is another one I did. This is from the Blackbird design book. And this one is In Full Glory. So cute. And this is a flat fold that I followed the Vonna Pfeiffer tutorial on how to create a flat fold. And that's the way it turned out. I made the cording according to how Vonna teaches. And that's how it turned out. I love it. So many other things in that book I would like to do. Okay, and then this one, I know it's Blackbird Designs. Summer, something about the last of summer, sweet summer come again, I believe is what they call this. And I finished this in a drum form. And maybe next time I'll talk about how I use tiger tape, and I'll just put it around the top of my drum. And I tiger tape is a little way to measure. You just stick it on and it comes right off, but it has like all of these little lines on it, and you can count over how many you want to create more of an even finish look, which is optional. I just kind of do that. And this is that Blackbird design fabric that I think you can still get on Kitten Stitcher. She's on vacation now, but I think she has the Blackbird design fabric for, it's a lot less. I can't remember. I think it's a yard is $5. It's something crazy. Very pretty. Okay, so those are my previous finishes. I'm going to clean up a little bit, and then I'm going to show you my plans. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Alrighty, so let's talk a little bit about my plans, upcoming plans. And it's going to have a little haul in it, but I don't have a ton of haul. I've been pretty good lately. Well, we'll see. So let's get into my plans for July. So my birthday is in July, as is Kim, Contented Needleworker Kim. And Barbara, the Raspberry Stitcher, if you have a birthday in July, please let me know. We're going to do a little birthday start. So we haven't quite decided on what our project is going to be. There's a couple of things we're floating out there. A couple of maximum cross stitch charts. So that might be what we do together. My original idea was, hey, let's all work on something really huge. Let's all start something big, but maybe not for everybody. I know Kim has a lot of sales that she participates in, and I've got a big start that I'm going to be starting on my birthday. I'm pretty excited about. This is something that I've been seeing on Instagram. The Tudor House Stitcher, Sally, has made some incredible progress. First of all, everything she stitches just blows my mind. She finds the coolest charts. So when I saw her progress on this chart, Frances Eden, 1809, I said, that's it. I can't take it anymore. I've been seeing this chart for so long and I love it so much. And now that it's reprinted through 1884 Stitchery, you can just get your own PDF copy, or you can have her copy it and send it to you. So I went on and I downloaded it and printed it, and I'm ready to go. Now, this version has all of the border, which I've not seen anybody do all the border. It has a lot of lazy daisy kinds of stitches that go around and create these vines and things. So that feels like it's way too much for me. So I don't know that I'm going to do the border either. It's pretty big. How many stitches wide? I don't know that I can see. Oh, it's 356 by 289. That's a big one. So anyway, I got the Victoria Clayton silk pack, which again, people show that and you can't really see the silks, but hey, I'll eventually put them all on drops and they're very pretty. And that's what Sally did. She used the Victoria Clayton. I can't remember the linen she used, but I decided to go with a piece of 40 count platinum, which, oh, you know, let me show you what 40 count platinum looks like. This is the ES Spot motif sampler. I have it laced up and ready to be framed. We just haven't been able to find time to cut the frames yet. We have a few things ready to be framed, but this one is on a 40 count platinum, and I think I also used the Victoria Clayton silks on that, and I just love it. And here's my thinking, and this is just me. I don't always do this. Clearly I use a lot of modeled fabric, but I really like the Victoria Clayton silks. They don't have a ton of modeling. I like modeled fibers, don't get me wrong, but sometimes when you have that much business going on, to have it look, you know, more uniform, it's hard to describe, less modeled, a non-modeled fabric behind it feels more like that's the way it would have looked when it was first stitched. So that's what I like to do sometimes, and that's what I'm going to be doing with this as well. So if you see those colors, imagine this in those colors. It's going to be pretty similar. That light platinum. Oof. So I'm very, very excited to start that. And whether or not I have any business starting such a large project, it doesn't matter, because it's going to bring me joy. I will be doing it. I'll be starting it. So I have that. You know, I also have a piece of, well, I'll show that later. Okay, so let's get into other plans. I have Miss Hazel, and I have it partially kitted, and I'm gonna pull the rest of the colors probably from my stash, because I have quite a bit of things that, it's not a big project, clearly she's little, so I think partials of other skeins will work just fine. I just need to play around with what colors I'm gonna do it in. So I have that. That I'll be starting. This one I've had for a long time too, and I think I'm gonna get a start on this as well. So this is something that I just got all the DMC for. It's Cathcart Colquhoun, 1785, which I loved the moment I saw it. This is by Shakespeare's Peddler, and when it came out at market, this was kind of the one thing I wanted. I feel like this was a couple of years ago, and I had to get it, got it, and then I haven't started it. And I'm like, why have I not started? I just love it so much. It's just everything. So I got the DMC because I had a coupon from Michael's for $10 off, and that these turned out to be like exactly $10, and that is the palette. I'm doing my best to stay with the called for palette. I'm not sure what fabric I'm going to do this on. I don't know, but we'll see. I mean, I have this piece of Tropical Stitches I got, and it's a 40 count Optina, which might work really quite well. Let me back up a little bit so you can see the true color. It's a grayish, very pretty, and even though it's got modeling, the modeling we can tell is there, it's still all in a lighter color to me, and we'll see how these look. I mean, there's some beiges and ecrues that may get lost. I might have to go with the darker fabric. Let me see if I can see what this originally called for. It was Vintage Country Mocha, which feels like that's more, this is a week's parchment. So Vintage Country Mocha feels like it's about that color family of that, but it has more modeling, which this would look very pretty. You can see the back of it. It shows the linen a little bit more. So I think I have a piece of Vintage Country Mocha. I can try this on, hold this up and see how it looks. You know, I'll want to do one strand of floss. So pull one strand, put it on there, make sure I can see it, and change colors if I need to, pull colors and move them around. Alrighty, this one I've been dying to start. I don't have the flosses for, but this feels like a July start for me for sure. And that would be nice. There's quite a few flosses. It calls for Weeks Dye Works, Fawn, Cayenne, Mountain Mist, but I've yet to get that. This one I found on eBay. So I was perusing eBay, and I've never done a scarlet letter chart, and this popped up and I hadn't seen it before, and so I purchased this one. It was a very good deal. It's called the Gardener Pocketbook, and it's from the collection of Old Sturbridge Village, Massachusetts, and it talks about pocketbooks, and it's from 1755, and it's got the actual photograph on the cover there, and I just thought it was really beautiful. So I purchased that from a very nice lady. I believe her name is Stephanie. Stephanie said she had watched my Flosstube. Thank you for watching, and thank you for the beautiful chart. She sent it right out super fast. It's so pretty. So what I'm thinking I might do with it, once I get the flosses, I will pull fabrics. I feel like instead of doing all the stitching and all the pink stitching that it calls for, I might get a pink. This chart, oof, that's quite the chart. I hadn't looked at that before. That's kind of intense. I don't want to show it to you because, anyway, I'll show you a little bit of it. It's kind of like, whoop, like that. It's really big. So that behind there, it's like, it's an old scarlet letter. Anyway, so I feel that I could do it on a pink fabric, and I think it would look very, very pretty. So, really pretty. Okay, so those are my hopes and dreams and my plans. And I'm I'm really looking forward to July and my stitching there, and we'll see. If you have a birthday in July, please let me know. I'd like to say happy birthday. And let's see. Let me talk a little bit about Flosstubers I've been watching. I love the Hathaway Stitchers. So they're, again, two sisters, and they are so much fun to watch. They get the giggles, and every time they get into this laughing thing, I go right to where I laugh with the feeling I get when I laugh with my sisters. And nobody gets you like your sister. It's a lot of fun to watch them. I love their projects, and I believe they are the ones that have started an Instagram account that lists all of the sales that are going on. So if you have a sale going on, you can contact them. I think you send it in to the Instagram. I'm going to link their channel below, and they explain it. And so you can go to that hashtag on Instagram, and you can see what sales are going on, and follow along or put your sale on there as well. So the Hathaway Stitchers, I've been really enjoying the Crow River Stitcher. She is so much fun. She's very colorful. She's very relaxing. She invites you into her space. She shares her wonderful projects with you. She also does crochet, and she makes those really cute little crochet animals. I can't remember what you call them, but they're really darling. I don't need to do them, but I want to do them. Karen Combs, who I absolutely adore, and I know she has had a Flosstube for quite a while, and a lot of people already know Karen Combs. I really, really enjoy watching her videos. I love how calm she is, and I love the things that she talks about, and of course all of her projects are just so beautiful. She's great. And I did talk earlier about Jackie from Comfort Stitching. Time's up for me. So check out those Flosstubes. I will put them below. So whatever you're stitching, I hope you have a joyous end of June and a lovely July. And if you're in a warmer climate, I hope you're staying cool and getting all the stitching done that you want to do. And wherever you are in the world, I'm sending you lots of love and wishing you many peaceful hours with your needle and your floss. Goodbye, everybody. See you again soon.